capital.
There's also a gender difference, which men are much more likely to support within the unions. It's actually even bigger than the population overall. Male union members are much more likely to support Trump. Female union members are much more likely to support Harris. And that divide, and that's probably the challenge right now, is that there are so many divides, and we're looking for things where we disagree on. Even on this discussion in the last 5 minutes I've sat here, where do we disagree rather than where can we find common ground? And that's a tragedy. And regardless of who wins or loses, we're going to have to find this common ground when this is done, because we can't be fighting like this and expect our country to move
That's
forward.
that's the message of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz right now. That's why you see the happy warriors, the joyfulness in what they're doing, and why they went to the unions right away out of the gate when she unveiled him, versus the very dark and divisive message coming out of Donald Trump.
Well,
and the American
it is
people are
interesting
responding.
that the broader divides in the country, they also exist within these organizations and within these groups. They're not immune from it, even if they have an economic message as their banner.
So after watching this clip, here's what I think. Frank Luntz pointed out that there is a significant gender divide within unions. Male union members leaning more toward Trump, while female union members are supporting Harris. Now, this isn't just like a minor detail. It's a reflection of how much a bigger issue it is. Our nation is more divided than ever, and the focus on what separates us rather than what unites us is holding us back. Luntz hit the nail on the head when he said that this constant division and conflict isn't sustainable. It's a tragedy, really, because if we keep going down this path, we're not just talking about one election cycle. We're talking about the long-term health of our country.
The current administration on this issue, so I will give you credit on issues such as health care and abortion for the Democrats. But the Republicans have the advantage on inflation. They do blame the Democrats and Joe Biden for it, whether it's deserved. And the key here is housing and health care, which are expensive items, and the public can't afford it, and food and fuel. So H squared, F squared, and this is the strongest case for Trump and against Biden-Harris.
For sure.
I know we all have different data here. I think we can all agree prices are up 20%. But that all being said, I think speaking to the cultural piece of this, keep in mind the last two UAW presidents went to prison for corruption and for fraud. So I think that...
No, they didn't.
That is...
No, they did not. That was fact-checked earlier tonight.
But two presidents before that.
Not recently.
Two presidents before that.
Yeah.
But still, culturally, there is a problem here. The bosses and the rank and file members have a complete divide. They're not trusting their union bosses, and that's why you're not going to see a huge shift with the UAW.
You know what? Here's another data point. The Black Caucus of the Teamsters has not endorsed, by the way, any candidate. The Black Caucus did. They endorsed Harris and Walz. And to me, when we talk about the divide, we cannot ignore that divide also exists within union membership as well.
To back this up, let's look at the data. In the 2020 election, Trump actually performed better with union households than most people expected, especially among white male union members. And this isn't just a surprising issue when you consider Trump's stance on trades and jobs, which resonate strongly with many blue-collar workers. But the divide is stark when you compare it to the support Harris is receiving from female union members. This isn't just about policy, it's about identity and how each side is rallying its base on issues that speak to their core values. Let's not forget, this isn't the first time we've seen a gender gap in politics. Historically, men and women have often diverged in their political preferences. But what we're seeing now is much more pronounced and potentially dangerous play. It's clear that Democrats are backing on the female vote, while Trump's strength lies with male voters who feel left behind by the current administration's policy. So, what do you think? Is this gender divide going to be a major factor in the 2024 election, or is there a chance we can find some common ground? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear what you have to say. And before you go, don't forget to like this video if you find it like insightful. Share it with your friends and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Let's keep this conversation going, and I will see you in the next one. This is Hervey Yee signing off.